What's good, Splat Nation? We are back with episode 2 of Splat Picks. And this week, as y'all have seen on the Instagram, we got a special guest. Casey, how about you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Casey Cobble. I play football at Maryville High School, and I like Tennessee football, like all Tennessee sports, really. And I love country music, and yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Well, what's your favorite country artist?
Right now, I'm really big on Jason Isbell. He's more Americana folkish, or more Americana-ish,
Oh,
not
yeah.
as much folk, but I love Jason Isbell. I love Eric Church. Eric Church has been a staple for a while. Love Sturgill Simpson. What else? I love Coulter Wall, and then so I love Drayton Farley as well. Drayton Farley is also really good.
Okay, that's some good
So
ones.
yeah,
All right, boys, we ready for this?
let's do it.
I think we are.
All right, starting off with some NFL playoffs. The first game, we got Texans at Ravens. The line currently, the Ravens are a 9.5-point favorite, and it's a 43.5 over under.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think about this game?
I was a naysayer last week. I really thought Jay Flacco was that guy. Boy, was I wrong. Texans proved me wrong, proved to be the best team in Texas this season. I think they have a really bright future. They have a bunch of young guys with Nico Collins and CJ Stroud leading the way. I mean, they got a young coach. It's really ticking up for the Texans. I think the fans have a lot to be proud of, and I want that plus 9.5. I don't know if they win this, but I think they keep it really close, and I really like that over. I think this is, two decent defenses, but I think it's a high-scoring game. Two really good quarterbacks. I like this game a lot. I think it's going to be really fun to watch.
I agree with you. The quarterback matchup's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It is. I think with this game, I think that obviously Texans came off a great win last week, dominant win, like wasn't that close and kind of just dominated the whole game. But I think the Ravens take this one, and I think they cover just because they have had the rest. They have had the time to obviously prepare more for the Texans and see more. Because Texans have had to show more coming into the playoffs, and I just think the overall they're a better team. Texans are young and almost inexperienced, but they have obviously proven themselves. But I think it's going to be tough for them to come into Baltimore against arguably the best team in the NFL right now and keep it close. I think a lot of points will be scored. I think I like the over, but I don't know if I think Baltimore will end up pulling away at the end. So I think they'll take the spread and cover.
I really like what James was saying about how Texans have CJ Stroud and Nico Collins. I think those two are just going to be very good this game. But I think the Texans and Ravens will keep this a very close game all the way to the end. But I still think the Ravens will win, but I still think the Texans will keep it close, which is why I have the 9.5 for Texans. And then this is just going to be a very high scoring game. You have Lamar, who likes to run it a lot. And then I think he's going to connect with Zay Flowers a lot. So give me the over as well.
Yeah, no, before the speech, sorry about that, Drew. Me and Matzik were talking a little bit, and I think we saw eye to eye on this game almost completely with the quarterback play and CJ Stroud and how he's come so far. And I think we both agree.
1,000%. It's going to be a quarterback duel. Definitely the over's definitely the move. High scoring. This is a close line. I feel like the Ravens are favored a little high, though. I think they've had a good season. I just don't think they're as well-rounded as people think. They've had their wins are big wins, but their losses are big losses. I still think they'll beat the Texans, but I think C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins, like y'all were saying, they're going to keep it close. Lamar Jackson, though, I just think he won't lose. He won't lose to this young, inexperienced Texans team. But also the over, just a shootout. I mean, we all agree on that one, don't we?
Yeah,
for sure. All right. Should we move on to the next one?
Let's do it.
Let's move on.
All right. What do we got
here,
right, Casey?
So Bucks Lions. I think I like the Lions to cover here. I mean, I think they're significantly a better team. Bucks have struggled all year offensively, and they've struggled to get things going, especially not a super Baker Mayfield obviously has done great. Proud of him for getting to go back there and have a chance and take his team to a playoff, but obviously not the highest of level quarterbacks in the NFL, and I just think the Lions are overall just a better team. And I like the under in this. Just I don't think the Bucs can score a lot of points, and I think the Lions are a team where they're gonna score, but I don't think they're gonna score enough to where they can carry the Bucs all the way to that over 48.5. But I think it was a great run for the Bucs, but I just don't think that they can keep up with the Lions right now.
I'm kind of gonna agree with Casey, but not really. I have the Lions on the 6.5 because they have St. Brown, Laporta, Gibbs, and Montgomery. I think those four are just a bunch of lethal weapons. And then Tampa really only has White. I really don't see Godwin or Evans coming into this game at all. So I think White is going to have a big game, which is it's going to lead to the over just because he's probably going to score once and get their team into like field goal range and get Mike Evans and Chris Godwin or Cotton into touchdown scoring range. So that's why I'm taking the over. And then I think the Lions obviously are just going to cover and score a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you both on this. I think the Lions are going to definitely win by 6.5. I hated on the Bucs last week. I said Baker Mayfield wasn't as good of a quarterback, but he did prove himself. But that Eagles team was struggling, but I believed. But I think even this week, Jared Goff, he has a little more experience than Baker Mayfield. So give me the Lions at that minus 6.5. I think it's going to be a lot of running between Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery for the Lions, and then Rachaad White for the Bucs. So I think a lot of clock's going to be chewed. It'll be low scoring. I agree with Casey on the under here. I'm thinking like, I don't know, maybe 28-20 with the Lions winning, hitting the under, and covering.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I don't see this as a high running game. I really think it's going to be high passing. Both teams have a strong defensive line identity, but they struggle with their coverage in their secondary. I mean, look at the Lions. They have Aiden Hutchinson, Michigan legend. And then the Bucs have Vita Vea, who proved very helpful last week, helping with the tush push and stopping that. And so, yes, I also have Lions minus 6.5. Jared Goff has proven himself to be a folk legend in Detroit. I mean, the people love him up there. But I really like the over just because of the high passing. I mean, we've seen both of these QBs have a tight end they like with K-Dot and with Sam Laporta. And then both of them have great wide receivers with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Mike Evans. And so I think there's going to be a lot of passing. I thought Baker looked very well in the pocket last week. And also when the pocket collapsed, he was able to escape it and still make those short passes. And Jared Goff has obviously shown that he can throw the ball. So that's why I'm going with the over.
I like what you said about Jared Goff because I mean a lot of people forget that he took a Rams team to the Super Bowl. I mean it's not like he's been there. So I like that you said that, and I like that we're taking them covering the spread here just because I mean obviously I think they're experienced. They have the experience at quarterback, which is really going to help. I think push them over.
Yeah. Okay, I got a question. Do y'all think the Bucs game last week was a fluke?
No,
I think it was. I think it was because the Eagles have struggled so much in the past 6-7 weeks, and it was them trying to figure stuff out, and they have just struggled and not being able to figure out stuff out defensively. They've been really bad on the back end of their defense with pass coverage, and they've struggled a lot. I think it was kind of them still trying to find an identity after they played so well the first 11 weeks. They were like 10-1, and then they couldn't. I think they lost that something they lost, and I think it was just. The Bucs were playing better at that time, and that's what worked out.
Yeah, no. If I look at the Bucs' past 5 games, including that Eagles game, they went 4-1 with a win over the playoff Packers. But I don't think they've really seen a great offense, and I think that's going to show in this game because even the Eagles' offense, it was weak without A.J. Brown, and they were just really dysfunctional, especially with Nick Sirianni. He just could not put a good gameplay together, and they lost to the Saints by 10 with Jameis Winston and Derek Carr. I mean, it's been rough, and I think the Bucs' insanity run is over.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right, you mentioned the Packers, so let's get to the Packers at 49ers here.
It's got the same spread as the Ravens and Houston Texans game, but the over-under is 50.5. I'm thinking Kittle and McCaffrey are just going to put this game away. I really don't see Green Bay coming down and scoring a lot. So I'm going to take the 49ers on 9.5. And then I'm also going to take the under just because I think this is going to be very one-sided. McCaffrey's just going to run it, and there's just going to run down the clock the entire time. And then I see Aaron Jones. He had a really good game last game, but this game I have him for his under on 68.5 yards. I don't see him going anywhere or even scoring this game.
Wow. Okay. This might come as a shocker. I really don't think the Packers game last week was a fluke. They looked good, and they played a really good Cowboys team. I don't think they're going to beat the 49ers. I think the 49ers are just a little more well-rounded, but they're going to lose by a touchdown, I think. But these two defenses are clearly good. We saw Jair Alexander last week. I mean, he looked so good, intercepting Dak, who I said was one of my MVP candidates, and he picked him off. He had the pick six, and just, I mean, I don't think it'll happen that they'll pull off the win, but it'll be a defensive matchup. So give me the under 50.5.
Yeah, no, I agree with y'all on the under. I think one of these teams is going to get up a lot and then run the ball. That team just so happens to be the 49ers. I really like that 9.5-point spread. I think Shanahan is a really good playoff coach, and we've seen it year in, year out. He's made it to the Super Bowl or the conference championship several times in the past few years, no matter who's the QB, who's the running back. And I really think that they'll get up big, throwing the ball to Kittle, just little easy short passes. Then I think they'll have some run game with Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. But I also think come the end of the game, they don't want to get their players hurt. And so I think they'll also run the ball some with Elijah Mitchell. So that's why I'm taking the under. I think they get a good lead to start with, and then they just chew clock.
I think my thought process on it is the Packers are just not as well rounded as the 49ers are. They're really young. A lot of dudes who have not played in as big games. They had a big win last week, and I don't think that was a fluke. I think they have come to this point where they're playing really good football. I just think the 49ers are really good right now. They had that one tough game against the Ravens, but other than that, they've looked really good all season. And I think they cover here. I just think they're able to get all the weapons with Debo and Christian McCaffrey and all them involved enough to where they can put up points, and their defense is really stinking good. So I just think Packers are going to struggle, just not being as like experienced in this area. And so I think I like the under here as well, just because I don't think the Packers are going to be able to score as well on the defense, and I just don't think it'll end up getting too high in points.
No, I really like how several of y'all mentioned like how they're not experienced. And I think that's a pro and a con, because in this like short term, it's by far a con.
Yeah.
They're not experienced in the wide receiver. It's their quarterback's first year. But I think long term, the Packers are really building up a good team for the foreseeable future. They just don't miss on the quarterback.
The future is bright for sure for the Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Jordan Love was slept on at the beginning of the year. I mean, everybody was like, yeah, he's a mid quarterback. He'll get them through. Maybe they'll trade for somebody. But I think he is the future of the Packers. All right. So we got the final game, the Sunday night game, Chiefs at Bills coming up. So the Bills are a 2.5-point favorite here, and the over-under is 45.5. So here, I'm going to take the Bills at home. I think the home team, whether the Chiefs hosted or the Bills hosted, was going to win this probably by a field goal. It'll be a close game. I just think I know Mahomes in the playoffs. He's a different breed. He proved me wrong last week against the Dolphins. But I think the Dolphins weren't prepared for that weather. And now I don't think weather's going to be as big of an issue at this Chiefs-Bills game. But give me the Bills at -2.5. I like Josh Allen. I know he's thrown a lot of interceptions, but he's turned it around like the last 4 weeks of the season. He broke his streak, and now that he looked really good against the Steelers. And I'm taking the over. Both of these offenses are going to do really well. Stephon Diggs, he's going to have a touchdown probably. He and Allen always find a way to connect.
Yeah, no, I really like these matchups. We've seen the past few years the Chiefs and the Bills match up in the playoffs, and they've been some all-time classics. And they've, really changed the league. Even with the overtime rules. And so that's why I really like the over for this game. But I also really like the Chiefs. I'll harp on what I talked on last week. Mahomes is a playoff quarterback. Andy Reid knows what he's doing in the playoffs. And we really saw Rashee Rice pop off last week. And so with him coming out as their wide receiver one, along with Travis Kelce, I think this Chiefs team can really roll into Buffalo and win, even though they're the underdog. It's a 2.5-point spread. I see this as a push, and it could go 50-50 either way. So if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I really like the over just historically, and I like the plus 2.5 because just Mahomes' success.
Yeah, I liked how you talked about Patrick Mahomes being a playoff quarterback, and he's been so good, and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce and all them having such good experience in the playoffs and experience winning in the playoffs. And I had my doubts about the Chiefs coming into last week's game with the Dolphins, and I think this last week's game really made me pick the Chiefs to cover here, and I think they're going to win just because I think the way they played last week, they were coming off like there's a lot of doubt around that team of how will they win against a really good Dolphins team. They came in there and just they dominated them. And I think that's just due to really good coaching and knowing what time it is and what time of year it is and when it's time to get it going. And they figured things out and they got things going. And I think they're going to come in here and I think they're going to beat the Bills. I think they're going to take the over there because I think, like Drew said, they're both really good offenses here. And so I think they're both going to score points. And I think it's going to be a quarterback duel, but I think just the experience of how Patrick Mahomes refuses to lose when it comes to the playoffs, and he will get his team however far he can. And I think this is what's going to lead the Chiefs to win in this one.
I'm going to completely agree with Drew. I think the Bills just have the better edge with Kincaid and Diggs on their team. I think his line right now is 39.5. I think Josh Allen's going to connect with him multiple times. And then for Diggs, his receptions right now is 5.5. He went over that last game, and I told everyone to put money on that just because Josh Allen always finds a way to connect with Diggs multiple times. But last game, he didn't get the yards. But I feel like this game, since it's just a big game and the offenses are just going to be cooking, Diggs is also going to get over his yards. And then I'm also going to take the over because I feel like either Diggs or Kincaid is going to score a touchdown. And then Allen just he's very mobile. So I see him getting out of the pocket and getting a lot of yards on the Chiefs defense.
All right. Okay, I got a question for this one. We all think the Ravens are going to win. Can the winner of this game defeat the Ravens in Baltimore? What do we think? Either way, if Bills or Chiefs, are they going to beat the Ravens?
I think that's tough because if it's the Chiefs, then it's really a coaching duel because we've seen John Harbaugh take teams and win the Super Bowl, and we've seen Andy Reid take teams and win the Super Bowl. And it's two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So I think, I don't know. If it's the Bills, I think it's more Ravens. If it's the Chiefs, I really think it could be flip of a coin who could win.
I like that. I like what he said about the Chiefs going there, just because the Chiefs they've been there, they've won that game multiple times, and I think the Ravens being new to that game will be hard for them. But I still like I would like their chances still. I think they'd still be probably getting points just because they're at home. They've been so good all season, but I think I do agree with James there that if Kansas City wins, then I think they'll give them a better game than the Bills will.
I feel like both of these teams will definitely have the advantage of the refs against them for the Ravens game. Mahomes gets off the glazing, and yeah, I can definitely see these teams pushing past the Ravens just because of the refs.
In this game, then, how many roughing the passer calls do you think they're going to be?
Definitely over 5. I think the line should be 5.5. It's going to be around there. I'm going to go with like 6 or 7.
Golly.
Now, I got a question.
What?
I'm sorry. Is this the next Peyton Manning v. Brady?
Which
well,
one?
As in Josh Allen versus
like Josh Allen versus
Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes.
I think you can even throw Lamar Jackson into that. I think all three of them.
I don't think Lamar has the playoff success to be compared to them.
Just wait.
Lamar only has one playoff win.
Just wait. I think this year, after this year, I think those three will be in talks. Like anytime they go head to head, they could be compared to Brady and Peyton. Personally.
It's a hot take right there because Lamar just doesn't have the playoff experience.
I don't think. I don't know. I
He's
feel
rarely
like
ever had the weapons though. Like he has better weapons this year than he's had
That's true.
in
exactly,
most other
That's true.
years.
exactly. Like, but I think that AFC Championship game, if it's the Ravens playing, I don't think the Texans will put up as much of a fight against the Chiefs or Bills. But Ravens versus either of these teams, that'll be probably the game of the year. Maybe even over the Super Bowl. All right. We ready to move on to some college hoops?
Let's move on to some college hoops.
Let's do it. Okay. Starting off, the Texas battle. Baylor at Texas. Two pretty hot teams in the Big 12 right now, even though they're both coming off losses.
Yeah, I mean, this is a heated rivalry that we're going to miss next year because of the conference realignment. And I really think that Baylor comes out with this one on top. It's a true in-state rivalry, but I think the fans will still travel down to Austin to see this game. Texas has honestly looked kind of soft. I hated when Rodney Terry got mad about the horns down. I think you need to take it like a man. RT was really just riding on their previous coach's success. And so I really think Rodney Taylor is not that coach. I think they should have stuck with Chris Beard no matter what the allegations were. And I think Baylor's top team of the country. I don't care if they're coming off a loss. Give me the Baylor Bears over the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, I like that. I like what you said about them being in state, so they're going to be. It's not as far to travel. I like that. I like that they're looking for a bounce back win. And usually, I feel like if you're a top 10 team and you've come off a loss, that next game is really a set the tone game of what's going to be expected from there on out. And I think that's what it is going to be for the Baylor Bears. And I think they're going to come out, and I think they're going to handle Texas at Texas' home. But I think they're going to get it done.
I think Casey just said it. Texas has lost their last two, and Baylor just lost their last one. But I think Baylor is going to bounce back, and Texas is going to have a 3-loss losing streak.
Y'all might know this. I'm a Baylor fan. My mom went to Baylor. Sick 'em. That game against Kansas State, it was such a close game. Baylor just had some fouls at the end of the regulation to allow Kansas State to tie it up, send it into overtime. They kind of just ran out of gas. They were in some foul trouble. But Baylor's a young team this year, but they're electric. I got to watch them play Oklahoma State. Oregon State. Oregon State. That's the team. They're an electric team to watch. They're young, they're fast, they have great ball movement, and Texas just isn't that good this year. I don't care if it's at home. Sorry, Fletcher. Stick 'em Bears. All right. The next game we got, Bama at Tennessee.
All right, here I have Tennessee money line. I mean, I'm a Tennessee fan, so maybe I'm a little biased. But I mean, they're at home against Bama. They've played pretty well so far in the SEC, other than that Mississippi State game that was rough. But I mean, they came off a close win against Georgia recently, and I think they're going to kind of start picking up steam here at home. And this is going to be a kind of marquee win that's kind of like we can put at these people. And they had a big win against Ole Miss in the SEC, so I think with that, I think they're going to be playing a better form of basketball than Alabama is right now, and I think they're going to win the game.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going Bama. They just shoot better. I don't really know a lot about basketball. I kind of just look at who shoots better, and Bama, they shoot a lot and they score a lot. So I'm going Bama.
Wow. I agree with you. Bama shoots a lot and they score a lot. But Tennessee has a top defense in the country. And Dalton Connect, man, he's him. He's put up over 30, or he's put up 35 the past 2 games. He's like over 100 points in the past 3 games combined. I just think Bama can't handle Tennessee's offense, but Tennessee's defense will stop Bama. They are not going to allow as many threes. I agree with Casey. Give me the Vols.
Yeah, no, I was able to see Bama play Mississippi State this past weekend, and Bama put on a showing. I mean, they're a talented team, and they're a smart team, coaching-wise. But I think Tennessee, that home court advantage is going to play a big part. I really like Dalton Connect. He has been playing lights out these past few games, and that's why I'm going Tennessee over Bama. I think they'll get this conference win. It'll look good on their resume. And I think they'll go further into conference play with this win. And this is really a statement win for the Tennessee Volunteers.
I'm going to ask you all a question. Why do you think Tennessee can stop Bama?
I think just all year they've played really solid defense, and that's what they're known for. They're known for their defense. And I think all around they are one of the best defensive teams in the country. And I think that's going to come down to where, sure, Bama's going to score, but I think with Dalton Connect being able to push Tennessee over, they're going to be able to score with them too and be able to stop them more than Bama can stop Tennessee.
So you're
Yeah,
taking
I
defense
agree.
over offense?
What?
Yeah,
You're taking defense over offense?
Yeah, in this one for sure.
I agree. Rick Barnes he knows how to play defense. He will stop Alabama with whatever it takes. Tennessee's a deep team. So say they get into foul trouble, they're deep. They have people like Santiago Vescovi. He's coming off the bench a lot. He is a stud that is coming off the bench. So I just think Tennessee has the depth and defense over offense.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We ready for the next one?
I think we are.
Let's see. What do we got? Oh, yeah. Good old
Iowa
Iowa
State at
State.
TCU?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Iowa State here just because I kind of phoned in my friend. He told me to take Iowa State because they have good defense. So I'm going to pick them. This game I'm doing defense over offense.
Really? Who's this friend of yours?
Drew Eldridge.
The GOAT. He knows his basketball, so I trust him.
Hopefully.
All right. For me, I have TCU. I think in college basketball, being the home team has its many advantages. I think it's the college basketball home field advantage is greater than the NFL home field advantage. That's why I got TCU. I just think that both two ranked teams, but TCU is just going to pull this one off.
Yeah, no, this is a really tight game. Both are top 25 teams, but it's a home game for TCU. Their fans will probably show out, I hope, if they're good. Big Game Bimmer will definitely have a word with them if they aren't. And yeah, I just like TCU over Iowa State. I don't know. I think it's just a gut feeling, but give me the Horned Frogs.
I agree with you guys with the TCU picks. They are at home, which I like what you guys said about that. And I think they've played better against ranked teams than Iowa State has. And so that's why I like TCU here.
Sweet. All right. Here, another Big 12 matchup, third one of the day. We got BYU at Texas Tech. James, what do you got here?
The Red Raiders against BYU. Once again, home field advantage. These Texas teams are going to show out this weekend. I think I like Texas Tech. Both are ranked. Tech has just played a little more grittier ball over BYU, and so that's why I'm going with them. I think BYU is a good team. I think they'll do well come March Madness, but I really like the Red Raiders in this matchup.
Yeah, I got to disagree. I think BYU, they've had some pretty good wins this year. I think Texas Tech, they've been inconsistent at best. So that's why I had BYU money line.
I like BYU money line as well. They've had a better schedule from what I've seen so far. And they're what's it called? Oh yeah, every time Texas Tech has played a good ranked team, they've lost pretty bad, and so I think that's why I like BYU here.
I'm taking BYU because they are the second most in 3-point attempts, and I just like the volume of shooting. Just like the Alabama game, I think if you have the better offense, in some cases, obviously in the Iowa State game, I'm just kind of going off Drew saying they have defense, but in my opinion, I like taking offenses over defense. So give me BYU just because they shoot the three.
All right, our final game of the day. Auburn versus Ole Miss, a heated SEC rivalry. And I'm taking Auburn. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be similar to the Tennessee game. Auburn is the number 4 team in KenPom rankings, which I think say a lot about the team, whereas Ole Miss isn't even sniffing the top 25. I think Ole Miss is a fraudulent team. They just lost to LSU. They've lost poorly to Tennessee. I think Auburn gets the conference win easily.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think Auburn's going to win this game. They're at home, which, as we've stated, we think is really important in college basketball. They've played better. Obviously, they're undefeated in conference play, and I think just keeping that steam rolling, and I think they're going to get a win here.
I'm gonna agree. Auburn has a big winning streak right now, and they shoot a lot. I'm just gonna keep on repeating that. I like teams that shoot a lot, with chances to score. So give me Auburn.
I think we all got Auburn here. Ole Miss, anytime they play a good team, they don't play well. I think we saw it against Tennessee. Chris Beard at Ole Miss, people thought, oh, maybe this Ole Miss team can compete in March. I just don't think it's happening. Auburn at home. Give me the Tigers, War Eagle. All right. That's about it. Y'all got any ideas about NFL playoffs, like the future? Any Super Bowl predictions y'all want to mention?
I think it's going to be a fun weekend of games. I think that's about all I have.
Yeah.
That's all right. Sounds good. Well, we'll see y'all next week. Casey, thank you so much for being our guest speaker. Enjoy
Thanks for having
Good
me.
luck.
Thanks for having me.
Hope the picks go well. See y'all next week.
Me too.
All right. See ya.
See ya.